Hello, fifth grade. Today we are working on Thursday's ERQ. We need to calculate the area of a triangle that has a base of 18 inches and a height of 2 inches. Explain your steps to finding the answer to the problem. So when I look at that, I see two power verbs in there. So what does it want us to do? It wants us to calculate and it wants us to explain. It wants us to calculate the area of a triangle and it wants us to explain our steps to finding that answer. It's a little bit of an easier ERQ today. So go ahead and make sure you have your DWB done. It should look something like this. And remember with DWBs, you don't need to have a lot of wording in them. Like I just have area of triangle. It's your explanation is what's going to count most as the points. This is your brainstorming. This is to get things set up. Okay, so we saw that our our base was 18. Our height was 2. And then we remember that there's two different ways to do this. You can multiply something by 1/2, and what that actually does is it cuts that number in half. So you can either multiply by 1/2, or you can go ahead and just divide by 2. It's the same thing. You would get the same answer, whichever formula you choose to do. So I'm going to do 18 times 2 times 1/2. So it's going to look like this, 18 times 2. Let me move the camera a little bit. There we go. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Then I need to take that answer, 36, and I need to multiply it by half. And do you remember what I said from last video? What decimal point represents 1/2? It's 5/10 or 0.5. So I'm going to multiply by 0.5, and then I'm going to remember to put my decimal point in and make sure that I get the correct answer that way. 5 times 6 is 30. Carry my 3. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 3 is 18. And then how many numbers come after the decimal point? I need to swoop up in my answer, only 1. So I'm going to move 1 spot here to get 18, and it was inches squared as my answer. There's another way you can do this. So if you like that way, you can keep doing it by that. You can keep doing the base times the height and multiplying it by 1/2. Or a little bit easier, in my opinion, you do base times height divided by 2. So when I do 18 times 2, we got 36. And if I'm going to do 36 divided by 2, we can go ahead and do our steps. Does McDonald's sell burgers? You remember that one, or divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. 2 can go into 3 one time. 2 times 1 is going to be 2. 3 minus 2 is going to be 1. Bring down my 6 and do it all over again. 2 can go into 16. 8 times exactly. So I could do 16 minus 16 is 0, and there's nothing to bring up. There's no remainder. So we know it's 18. Don't forget, you need to add your unit, which was inches this time. And you need to put that 2 at the top. 2 squared. Okay? So that's telling us that that 2D shape, that is the area for it. 18 inches squared. Make sure that not only do you show this, but you also have to explain those steps. So make sure you are explaining your steps because that is part of your DWB. In order to get the full 4 points, you will need to have this, and then you will also need to explain your steps. Have a great day, fifth grade.